the time is finally here. In front of you, you see a mechanical pencil that many of us have been anticipating for quite some time. It's actually been released for about 6 months, but it hasn't been easy to find it in the United States at all in that time. I think that Jet Pens finally has this in stock, and I'm still waiting on Tokyo Pen Shop to get it in stock. This is the Uni Kuru Toga Advance mechanical pencil that we had been looking for several months after we heard about it. And I finally have one in hand and have been writing with it for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to give you my insights. And the big question that we want to have today is this the Uni Kuru Toga pencil that we have been looking for quite some time, or is it just the same old, and we haven't really made many improvements? And I'll answer that question over the course of the time here. But before I get started on it, I wanted to go ahead and, since it is back to school, remind everybody that teachers are out and looking for deals, and I don't know if this is unique to all Cartwheel or if it just showed up on my Cartwheel for Target, but I got 20% off any Pentel product or Pentel products. I think you could buy as much as you want, 20% off. And so if you shop at Target and you're a Cartwheel member, you can get a discount on Pentel products. And so I went ahead and got these Energel RTX liquid gel pens. I was thinking about going exclusively to fountain pens. I really enjoyed the Platinum Preppy fountain pen that I got at Tokyo Pen Shop, but I'm also trying to save a little bit of money right now, and so I got this, I think, for just $3 after the 20% off discount at Target. And so I'm going to dive in and try to use this violet ink this year when giving feedback to students. And so I just wanted to point out that this is the grading pen product that I decided on to start off the school year. And one thing that's really important to me, I looked on the back, you can get refills for this. I don't want to just use a pen and then discard it if I can replace the ink cartridges. And so I'm going to be looking for these LRN 7 refills as I run out of ink on these, assuming that I like them, of course. But you came here to check out the Uni Kuru Toga Advance, and so that's what I want to spend the majority of the time here on the video doing. And before this video, I did a little bit of prep comparison writing for all the Uni Kuru Toga pencils that I have. Now, not represented here would be the Uni Kuru Toga Alpha Gel and the Uni Kuru Toga High Grade. I don't expect the high grade, other than the grip, to be that much different than the roulette in terms of the mechanism, and same thing goes for the Uni Kuru Toga Alpha Gel. I don't expect them to be that different. The fact that I have some fixed sleeves here and some sliding sleeves, I think that I have a fair comparison, even though there isn't every Uni Kuru Toga product that I've done in preparation for this video. And so basically what I did is I wrote out the exact same thing using 4 different pencils. The Uni Kuru Toga Standard, which I have this blood red model that I really like, is this top one. And then I did the Uni Kuru Toga Pipe Slide, which before the Advance was the most recent Uni Kuru Toga pencil that came out. And I think that they probably brought this out to test the retractable tip feature, which the Uni Kuru Toga Advance has. And I've been having problems with my pipe slide version, and so here I'll try to, it doesn't always go back into the body of the pencil. Sometimes it pops right back up, but usually I can get it to go back in there. One thing that I should mention is that all of these Uni Kuru Toga models that I tested here have the standard Uni Kuru Toga mechanism, which supposedly makes half as many turns as the Uni Kuru Toga Advance. And so we'll talk about that a little as we go ahead and review the product. And then I also did the Uni Kuru Toga Roulette, which I was very impressed with when I got it at Tokyo Pen Shop, and this is still a pencil that I use. It still has all the issues and concerns that I have with the prior Uni Kuru Toga models, and so if you watched any of my past videos, or if you haven't, I'd recommend that you go check those out. And so I have a review for all 3, I believe, of these Uni Kuru Toga models here on the channel. For sure these 2, if not for the standard version. And my biggest gripe with the Uni Kuru Toga in general is the eraser dock and how I don't feel like, or there's a lot of wobble in it when you erase. prevents you from being precise in erasing. And then, of course, something that the Uni Kuru Toga roulette solved that was a problem for me on the basic and the pipe slide models was the plastic flimsy pocket clip. And so how does the Uni Kuru Toga Advance stack up to all of these? And what do I think of that Uni Kuru Toga Advance, given that this is a pencil that has been anticipated by the mechanical pencil community since it was announced? Well, when I was doing this writing test with these 4 pencils, I honestly didn't get much of a difference between them, especially given that the basic grip of the standard Uni Kuru Toga and the Advance is not that different. I mean, there is some texturing on this that you can feel, but in terms of holding it in your hand, I don't see that there's much difference between the Advance and the Uni Kuru Toga Standard, other than this definitely feels a little bit more heavy, the Advance does, than the standard model. And that could be explained by the pocket clip alone being a metal pocket clip. I actually prefer this longer style pocket clip of the Advance, and if we take a closer look at it, you can see that it says the word Advance on it. And then if we compare that to the Roulette, which is the other Uni Kuru Toga model that has a metal pocket clip, this is a much more subdued, shorter pocket clip. I really like this pocket clip on the Advance. It's skinny but strong. It's sort of a best of both worlds pocket clip. And so what about the Uni Kuru Toga Advance in of itself? Well, as I said, I don't see much writing difference in terms of grip between the Advance and the Standard. I would like to point out that when you compare the Advance to the pipe slide model, these are similar in terms of their overall writing experience because both of them have sliding sleeves. And I did test this. I went ahead and got out, one of my Star Wars adult coloring books that I've been playing around with for the last couple of weeks and just colored a little bit with it. Shaded, I should say. I was shading in shapes with the Advance and the pipe slide. And the Advance definitely has a sliding sleeve. It is not just a retractable sleeve, meaning that as you write with the Advance, the sleeve gradually retracts its way back up into the pencil so that you do not have to click the top button as much. And my package that I got my Advance in, let's go ahead and clear the field here. Okay. Some of you have noticed that I've gotten a new tattoo. I'm actually not going to show it to you in this video because I mowed the lawn shortly after getting it and got a nasty case of poison ivy or poison oak. We're not quite sure exactly which one it is, and I don't want to show that on camera, and so I hope you can appreciate that. And so I won't be showing it off just yet. I will sometime in the future on the channel. And so with regards to the Advance, I ordered mine directly from Japan, okay? I was waiting and waiting and waiting for this to come in U.S. retail stores, and people kept requesting videos for it on the channel, and finally the price had come down far enough where from Japan, shipping included, I think I paid $8 for this, which that's way less than the price of the pipe slide for like 6 months or more, maybe even a year after it was released. And so the price from Japan came down on these pretty rapidly. And I don't know if that's an indication of the fact that maybe they're not selling as quickly in Japan as Uni expected. Maybe these were... maybe there's just a huge overstock of them in Japan. I don't really know. But I want to point out that the package, of course, with Japanese kanji characters, given that it's in Japanese, I can't really read any of the details on it. And so maybe if there's a member of the audience who speaks Japanese and can do more of a full translation of the back of this package, Uni products, the pipe slide, and as far as I can tell, the Advance have never really specified whether or not any of their pencils have a sliding sleeve. At least in terms of when I look at the pictures, like maybe number 3 is referring to the fact that it's retractable. Maybe number 3 also references the fact that it's a sliding sleeve. I don't know. But that can be a tendency for mechanical pencil manufacturers, that the engineers and the marketers will sometimes not talk to each other. I mean, that's true of a lot of products, not just mechanical pencils. And so there may be a design feature that a marketer doesn't key in on and doesn't mention on the product, or doesn't feel like it's necessary to mention it on the product. But if we look at the front of the package, which has more pictures on it, and I'm going to try to get it with a light in here, it references the fact that the Uni Kuru Toga has a faster mechanism in terms of the rotation of the lead. And there's also a reference here to protection, protects the lead from breakage thanks to a okay, so it does reference the sliding sleeve here, which a sliding sleeve can protect the lead a little bit better as you go along. It also has the added benefit of not being able to, or not having to click the top of the pencil when you want to keep writing. And so how does this stack up compared to other Uni Kuru Toga products, and what are my impressions of it? Well, let's go ahead and write with it a little bit. So we have the Uni Kuru Toga Advance. Some watchers of the channel, specifically EDC Jesse, had pointed out that he noticed that if you hold the Uni Kuru Toga at an angle when you write with it, you are much less likely to trigger the lead rotation mechanism than you are if you hold it upright. And I'm an upright writer most of the time anyway, so that this isn't as big of a deal for me. But for some of you who have more traditional slanted writing, it's entirely possible that the Uni Kuru Toga isn't going to do anything for you and could in fact be a hindrance, because you won't get the rotation if you're writing like this. It kind of has to be straight up in order for that to happen. And so that's a downside of the Uni Kuru Toga that I also haven't talked about much, but I wanted to mention. So writing experience, I'm going to give it a good. Okay. I actually like the slightly weightier feel to this than the standard Uni Kuru Toga. Everybody has their sweet spot. One of the criticisms that I often have of mechanical pencils is that they're a little too heavy for my taste. The Uni Kuru Toga Roulette is significantly weightier than the Advance, and I think that the Advance strikes a nice middle ground. I'm also throwing out a good for the writing experience because of this sliding sleeve. It allows you to write for longer periods of time without it being as big of an issue. What about quality? I'm going to go with good. Right before this review, I've noticed that I already have a scratch on the coating of the pencil. Okay, you can see it right there, that black little mark. And so these Uni Kuru Toga pencils have a plastic coating. I don't know if it's a paint or if it's like actual plastic. They all have it. If you look at my red version, you can see that my red version has some little dark etches in there where the coating is coming off on the edge. So all Uni Kuru Toga models have this plastic coating. And so, you know, that is kind of a ding on it. But it's still pretty decent quality, especially for the pocket clip as well. And if we believe that the mechanism here, the rotation mechanism, is a fancier mechanism than the one that we've seen in the past, you can see through the little window here. You can see that there's a double arrow as compared, to the standard model, which just has no arrow or a single arrow. That's supposed to be the indicator that you have the faster mechanism on the Uni Kuru Toga Advance. So I'm going to go with good on quality. For features, this is probably, in terms of features, the best Uni Kuru Toga pencil that is out on the market, I would say. I mean, the only sacrifice that you have for this over the Roulette is that the Roulette has the knurled grip, and so if you prefer the knurled grip or a weightier pencil, the Roulette might be a better option for you. It also has a better eraser cap here. The Uni Kuru Toga Advance has the benefit of that retractable sliding sleeve, and so it's like, you know, which do you prefer? Other than that, they're pretty equivalent. And so for overall features, I'm going to rate it a good plus. The only thing that maybe I would like better on this in order for it to be a better pencil for me would be a better eraser dock. And that's where, for me, this is the big issue that Uni clearly has no intention of fixing. We still have this cheap, wobbly eraser dock. Okay, and so when you erase with the Advance, you're kind of erasing all over the place. And I think that this is a concern because the less precise you are with your ability to erase, the quicker you're going to use up an eraser. And so it's pretty obvious to me at this stage that Uni has no intention whatsoever of shoring up their eraser dock, and I'm just going to have to live with this. So other than that, I think the features of this pencil are really good, and so I'm going to rate it as such. What about cost? Well, the price has come down on this thing pretty quickly. Okay, $8 USD, that includes ship, and that's from Japan. Okay, I believe this is available at Jet Pens, and hopefully Tokyo Pen Shop will get this into stock pretty soon. It comes in a variety of colors. I got mine in lime green because green's one of my favorite colors, but I believe it also comes in a variety of pastels and red and perhaps black as well. And so you can check out the colors that are available online. And so pros, well, probably the most pros of any Uni Kuru Toga pencil. It has this double rotation mechanism that is going to keep that lead supposedly extra sharp. I haven't tested the speed of that mechanism, but I have seen some videos online where people have tested it, and it definitely rotates much, much quicker. It has this retractable and sliding sleeve. Okay, and a great pocket clip. I like both the styling and the functionality of this pocket clip, so that's definitely a huge pro for it. Cons. Well, unfortunately, folks, the eraser dock is still a problem. You know, it's like, what sort of features would you like? For me, the eraser dock, having it functional, given that in my eyes it's something that should be fixable. I don't know why, you know, they're not working on improving design issues. And the grip is pretty bare bones. If you're really a big grip person, consider the Uni Kuru Toga Roulette. And speaking of the Uni Kuru Toga Roulette, here's my final verdict on the Advance. Okay. I'm going to put the Uni Kuru Toga Advance in my honorable mentions. No, I still don't feel good putting in my top 10, folks. I think that there are better mechanical pencils out there. And if you really like the lead rotation mechanism, then perhaps this is going to be in your top 10, your top 5 mechanical pencils. That's entirely up to you. For me, it's an honorable mention. What's going to happen here is that I'm going to keep the roulette as an honorable mention. And in my last honorable mentions video, the pipe slide was next to it. Well, folks, the Uni Kuru Toga Advance basically makes the pipe slide obsolete. Okay, if you were going to buy a Uni Kuru Toga pencil with a retractable feature, the pipe slide at this stage isn't worth your money when you can go ahead and get an Advance. So I'm going to replace the pipe slide on my honorable mentions list with the Uni Kuru Toga Advance. It's a fine pencil. Okay, it isn't the mind-blowing thing that I hoped it would be and that a lot of people wanted it to be. It's certainly the best Uni Kuru Toga pencil out there for the price, unless the grip of the roulette really matters to you. So if you prefer that knurled grip and a weightier pencil of the roulette, this might be a toss-up for you. If the grip doesn't matter as much to you and you want a retractable sliding sleeve, the Uni Kuru Toga Advance probably is the best pencil that Uni makes and has out on the market. Okay, so, you know, you decide. It's entirely up to you. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I know many of you have been waiting on the channel for quite some time to hear about what I thought about the Uni Kuru Toga Advance and been waiting for this review. I really appreciate you watching, and, you know, feel free to leave a comment so that we can continue to discuss this controversy / not controversy about the Uni Kuru Toga Advance. Let me know what you think if you have one. Let the other viewers of the channel, let them know what you think, because this is just the opinion of one dude. Okay, and so we need to get some more people commenting on this so that people can make informed decisions. That's ultimately what I want. I want people to be able to make informed decisions on the products that they're going to buy. And I'm not, you know, I'm not an expert. I'm just an enthusiast. I'm an amateur enthusiast. And so, you know, take my opinion with a grain of salt, just like you would for anybody's opinion out there on the internet. And don't be afraid to contribute your opinion too. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the summer that we have left over. Many of us are going to be going back to school soon, and I will continue to post videos on the channel about mechanical pencils. Have a great day.